All right, welcome to another episode of the Organic Fitness Podcast. Okay, we're your host, me, Colman Power, Organic Fitness. Who else would it be? So the fact is, this is an episode we're going to do the likes of Q&As that I pulled from people I'm currently training, people that have DM me on social media, whether it be TikTok, whether it be Instagram. I highly recommend you check out TikTok because things are heating up there. Just to tell you that up to 2 months ago, I had 1,000 followers. Now I have 80,000 followers on that. And that's a big thing for me, but that didn't happen overnight. And I tell you, that's for sure. So, and that just brings me on to the couple of the questions we're going to be touching on here. Setting yourself up for success. That's the first topic. But on that is not caring about what other people think and how to deal with that, as well as the best foods to eat organically and grow and consume in your diet while looking to be a healthier version of you. So go back up to the top. These are quite topical. Why? Because when you want to set yourself up for success, I highly recommend you, the listener, to get a goals board, get a piece of paper, write down as clear as day in a 6 or 8 week term what you want to improve on, whether it's your fitness, whether it's your health, whatever areas your life that you want to improve on. I divide mine into the likes of 4 main categories. You can also subdivide it even further. It's your health, rate it out of 10. Your wealth, the likes of your relationships and your love, and then your fulfillment is the last one. Those are the areas that you want to improve on in your overall, we'll call it, grand scheme of your life. But for most people that I'm training and mentoring, it's improving on the likes of their body composition, which would be their health and their fitness, which has a knock-on effect into your mindset as well, because the foods and the things that you do on a regular basis help you move forward, help you be a healthier version of yourself. And that's really what the majority of us want. We want improved the likes of our mood, improve the likes of our energy levels. And as a result of that, that all comes down to the food that you eat, because I only tell people about the likes of things that will benefit them. I don't talk about the likes of doom and gloom and things we cannot do. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I don't have a television. I don't listen to the news, because don't ever be worried about what's going on and be worried about not being included in what's going on. People are going to tell you about the most minute negative thing that they could possibly ever even think of. And what's the first thing they'll say to you? God, the weather's bad, isn't it? They literally float to that. There's nothing else to say. They float towards negativity. You have to surround yourself with positive things. And positivity starts from within. Okay? Asking yourself the right question, because when you ask yourself the right question, you get the right answers. You're asking yourself, why do you want to train? You're asking yourself, what kind of a physique or foods do I need to eat to be a healthier individual? And a lot of the times you know the answer. You know the training that you can do. You know what has to be done. But the thing is, get clear, write it down, because when you write it down, it's called the power of the pen. I do it. I have a goals board here sitting in front of me. For those of you that are on YouTube, you can see another goals board behind me. I have different goal board in areas that I want to improve on. And the thing about it is, when you, in your fitness, put in 10 out of 10, you get it back in abundance. But the thing is, you have to have and line up your day so that you can achieve the most out of your fitness and health that you're trying to improve on. So with that, or anybody that take on the organic fitness program, first thing is first, okay? It's lining out your perfect day, having it set up that you know that you should be consuming. This is a very simple tip. The first thing I want to tell you, most people are under eating on protein. You're under eating on fiber. And the protein target is 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per day. That's up to 4.4555 pounds for those of you in America. I have followers in America, followers in Canada, I have in Australia, England, and training people in Ireland, all over right now. And it's great. And I absolutely love social media for that. And that's the first point in getting clear. So when are you having the likes of overnight oats, which has either a protein supplement in it? It could be a breadwinner for a simple meal that you could have. You could also make a smoothie for breakfast. All those things could have the likes of added fiber. Fiber is the second thing people are not eating enough of. So you're lining up your breakfast. Breakfast done and dusted, whether it be a smoothie, whether it be the likes of, you can also have those overnight oats, as I said, having healthy fats in it, with the likes of berries. Berries are super beneficial. They have polyphenols that have high antioxidants that reduce stress on the body, that again are going to help you live a happier and live a healthier life. I absolutely positively love the foods that benefit you. And the thing about it is, these are up to you. These decisions that you make on a regular basis are all down to the things that you do. You decide what foods you eat. You decide what clothes you wear. You decide the thoughts that you think. But putting yourself in a situation and having it clearly outlined is really going to help you. Because if you don't know what you want, you'll do things at random. If you do things at random, you'll get a random result. I cannot stress it enough that you need to know what you're doing on a daily basis. You need to have a regular set up time for you to get up in the morning, which I regularly have with people that I train. They're getting up at a certain time in the morning. They're going to bed at a certain time in the evening. Okay, they're doing the activities throughout the day. And the thing about it is, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like to have a schedule." Set the schedule up to whatever goddamn way you want it. You make the decisions. You literally wipe your own ass every single day. You do everything. So when you decide what you want to do, make a list of your perfect day, what time you get up, what you have for breakfast, whether you have a high protein lunch, then again, what time it is that? Did you meal prep it? Is it last night's dinner? Is it the next day's lunch? And then all you have to do and worry about then is your last meal of the day. Like, make it as simple as you possibly can. Health and fitness is easy. But the thing about it is, you have to make it a routine. You have to make it a habit that you can do, that you can stick to. Whether it's the likes of something that you pre-made, or you prep all your meals on a Sunday, or if you're off on a Monday or Tuesday, you're prepping meals for the week when you're busy, when you're in work, whatever meals that you like. Adding in high protein, adding in high fiber has got to be key. Yogurts are my go-to snacks. Why? Because you can get a high protein, you can get a low fat yogurt. I'm not anti-fat, I'm telling you that. I just want you to note that most people need to bump up their protein. Protein is so important. It regulates hormones. It maintains the current muscle that you have. Okay, it also helps build muscle, which most people know about. But it's the keeping you fuller for longer is the point I'm trying to emphasize. Okay, that's setting yourself up for success. In each meal, focus in on the protein. Okay, hitting your target each and every day. And I get people to track things. And sometimes, and I was talking with a client that I'm currently training at the minute, and it's about not having it perfect, and not every day and not every week is perfect. Okay, sometimes when you're on a fitness journey and you've been tracking your foods, which I have some people do and some people don't track it, but that's absolutely fine. But making sure that what you are doing is in alignment with what you want. Okay, if you're in a maintenance phase, make sure when you're tracking is in the likes of MyFitnessPal at tracking as a maintenance phase. Or if you're looking to calorie deficit, reduce down body fat and tone up, okay, I want you to make sure that you're tracking it in the correct manner. We touched on this point yesterday, and it's like the analogy when you want to move forward and you have a river in front of you, and in fact there's stones there, and when you want to move forward, you know, and you can see some of the stones that are protruding up or above the ground, and you take a step and your foot is dry. Take the next step, it's dry again. Solid stone all the time. Next thing, you come across a bad week or a bad stone that ends up sinking or rocking or moving, and you sink your foot into the water. It's uncomfortable. You have a wet sock, okay? But the thing about it is, you can take your foot back out of the water, you dry it off, you put on a new pair of socks and shoes, and you go and take the next step in the right direction. And that's the analogy that I came up with off the bat, and it's so important, and that brings it back to what I'm talking about. You have to move forward. If you want to move forward, you have to do the things that you might be a little bit uncomfortable with, stepping in the water, okay? Nobody likes to have a wet sock. It's the most uncomfortable thing for anyone. If you've ever had it, for the most part, most people have. It's the thing about, you have to try it. You have to try and chance and see, is that stone going to hold your weight? You're going to try this food and this plan that I've laid out, that you've laid out and set out for your day, getting up at a certain time, choosing a certain type of foods. And if it didn't work, that just means don't think of it as failure. Think of it as feedback. It's so important that you try things. Think of everything like a project. I was never good in school, but the whole thing about it is I was good at trying. Okay, I never ever was the best at anything, but you don't have to be the best. You just have to be your best. That really helps when you try things, because you learn from doing. You can learn so much from reading a book about nutrition, about your health, about your fitness. The best diet is this, the best diet is that. In my personal opinion, there's no best diet, but there are better food choices. Organic food being the gold standard. And that's important. And I want people with this schedule and with this lifestyle that they're starting, whether it's starting today, it doesn't have to be in January, wherever you're listening to this. A lot of people listen to these podcasts a year on. This is the likes of coming into March 2021. But this is prevalent. This is universal. This is going to last forever. the likes of the content that I'm putting out here now. And I recommend people, whatever area you're struggling with, whether it's you're looking to de-stress, you're struggling with that, whether it's your training, your workouts, you're struggling to find the time for them, or it's the likes of your foods, your meal preps. I want you to do it first thing in the morning. Why? Because what you do first thing in the morning, it's called own the morning, own the day. If you struggle with any area of your life, you need to make a priority, because what you make priority gets done. And most people are lying in the bed, and they're what end up happens in the bed. Very little happens in the bed. If you want to improve, you have to do something. Nothing gets done if you do nothing. If you want something to change, you have to change what you're currently doing. These are things that I've been saying to myself. These are things that I have on goals boards in front of me. I have them there for the last number of years, and I'm progressing, and I'm helping people to do the exact same. I was a small kid. I was the lad who can't spell a lot of words, but the thing is, I'm improving all the time, and that's all you're looking for: improvements, being 1% better. It's the compound effect. I put €1 in a jar every single day when I do something quite specific to myself, and I want people to know that's what I want other people and individuals to do. It's one thing followed by another. It's a rolling momentum, okay? It's the likes of things at the start are difficult, okay? They're messy in the middle, but they're beautiful in the end. And that's the exact same way with your fitness and your health. You have to line out and have a goals board for yourself. And that's in relation to touching on the likes of how to be more successful in your fitness and your health and any other area you want to improve on. So it brings me nicely on to the next question, or the next topic is, how do I stop caring about what other people think? I'm going to tell you, I struggled with this for a long time. I was in school and never really clicked with any of the major groups. There was the lads who played sports, who played GAA. There was the country lads who were mad into tractors and talked about nothing else. There was the guys who literally were for the same village or the same town as me. And there was, we'll call it the tougher individuals who were based in a different area of the school, and I kind of fluctuated in between all those areas. I never really stuck in one of those groups. Why? Because I never really felt like that was exactly where I was. I wasn't a all out, straight up country individual. I wasn't an all out sports guy because my skill was lacking. I couldn't get on the starting team, but whatever I lacked in skill, I made up for in hard work and consistency and effort. I never missed a training session. That's what I believe and has helped me in all areas of my life right now. It's hard work's going to beat skill every single day, because the day it's piss and rain and the day it's cold and it's wet is the days that I get up, and the days that I have to train someone, whether it be one-to-one online, make a video, make a podcast. And there's plenty of days, and sometimes you might even see it. But the fact is, I feel pain too. I struggle, and it's not that it's easy for me. It's not easy for me. It's as hard for me as it is for you. But I push myself, and that's what you have to do. And you have to remember that if you want something different from what everyone else has, it's important that you forget about what other people are thinking. And when I started, I wanted to be healthy. I literally was eating chicken and broccoli and bringing it into the likes of college and into the likes of work, and people were looking at me because I thought firstly I thought the fact that that's what you had to do. That's what you had to do to be healthy. And I sure as I got sick of that fairly quick. And then I wanted to be and eat more the likes of whole foods and foods that contain different types of proteins, and going towards more plant-based and going to country markets and and growing a little bit of your own. And people say, oh, that's only for old people, and why are you doing that, or why are you bringing in that food? And what's actually happening is people are jealous. People are afraid of you changing and coming out and being outside of their comfort zone. And remember that the fact is that means that you're going in the right direction. You have to and I had to set my own group up in the likes of, we'll call it an organic fitness kind of mindset of getting up at a certain earlier time than other people. A lot of people stay up past 10 o'clock, go on towards 11 and 12, and they're watching television and they're mindlessly losing and wasting their own time, and they're being unproductive. And the thing is, I absolutely love the mornings for the fact that most people are unproductive in those hours of the day. I get so much done from the hours of 5:30 till, we'll call it 9 o'clock, and most people then are coming in and they're half asleep and they're reaching over for their coffee and they're going, you see that film there last night? You see that thing on Netflix? And the fact is, I don't watch a lot of television, but I do enjoy learning and about healthy food choices, about organics, the difference between conventional. And that's what I want you to remember, that if people are giving you stick or questioning why you're doing it, and you have written down why you're doing it, you can tell them exactly, because I'm trying to improve. I want to be the healthiest version of myself. And that's what I had to tell myself. And that's what I told other people. Okay, I don't have a huge abundance of friends, but that's absolutely fine. I have close family members. I have a brother, an old younger brother. I have an older sister, and I'm very close with those individuals. And I have some other close friends from school and college. And the fact is, you don't have to have the likes of a lot of friends. I used to have a huge abundance of friends. I used to be that guy who could set up and organize parties and have a great time with numerous people in a house, at an event. But the thing is, I was organizing all those things, and it was taken away from me helping other people and setting up the likes of this organic fitness program that I've done for people. And I have helped be the best version of themselves, using the likes of added weights, use the likes of foods that benefit them, and showing and mentoring people how to grow their own, because there's nothing better than the likes of foods that you can get your hands on that have been grown without the likes of harsh chemicals. I absolutely love that. I get energy. I get goosebumps. Those you can see on the likes of YouTube right now. I am electric with the amount of stuff that I want to do for people. I'll always, and you will always too, get more from doing something from somebody else. But remember that, just touching on that point, you have to stop caring what other people think. The whole idea of it is, if you're looking to be something that you haven't and something that you have not been before, you have to change what you were previously doing. If you were lying in the bed, if you were making unhealthy food choices, if you were getting cakes, if you were having chocolates, and if those people in the office or in work or in school are still offering you those things, what ends up happening is you have to say no. Because sometimes you have to say no to say yes to yourself. I'm just going to repeat that for emphasis. Sometimes you have to say no to the dessert. Sometimes you have to say no to the chocolate biscuits. Sometimes you have to say no to the pizza, to whatever the item is, if you want to change. And once you're clear on what you want and you decide that no, thank you, I'm fine, I have a goal, I have a target that I set for myself, and that's absolutely fine. You can put it in a slightly different tone of voice and say, that's fine, I'm okay, I'm full, I'm okay for now. I help people with strategies and doing that. Whether you work in a school, whether you work in an office, whether you're working from home and you have other family members who are not on the same journey, or have a partner who doesn't want to and consume as healthy as options as you're currently eating, there's strategies and there's tips and there's things that you can add in. And I help people, as I said, with that, on being and choosing foods that benefit them more often than not. Okay, because what you do the majority of the time gets you the majority of your results. And I suppose we'll move on to the last question, and then that's, what are the best foods to eat and grow organically? And this is something that's quite topical now, because we're coming into spring, and as a result of that, you get to choose, and if you are and have the capabilities of growing a little bit of your own. So foods that I highly recommend you to firstly grow are the likes of dark leafy greens. Okay, and one green I have here in front of me is parsley. Okay, parsley is super beneficial for the body. It contains antioxidants. It's a herb. It's a no-brainer. It's a breadwinner. Okay, it contains these antioxidants called lutein and zeaxanthin. Lutein and zeaxanthin are polyphenols, which are beneficial chemicals that are found in the food that you can improve the likes of blood flow to the back of the eye. That naturally increases your concentration. So a lot of people are drinking stimulants such as coffee or energy drinks, which I haven't ever taken a lot of, and I don't recommend. Why? Because it has a negative effect. Whether it's, firstly, it can have a negative effect if it's full of sugar, you have an insulin spike followed by the dip. For diabetics, I highly don't recommend that to you. So secondly, what's the other thing? Sweeteners. Sweeteners found in either a 0-calorie Coke or other beverages, or 7-Up Freeze, if that's still a thing. The fact is that those sweeteners can have negative effects on your gut health, your microbiome. Microbiome is so important, because literally they control. There's more microorganisms found in your body than there are cells located on your being. So as a result of that, it's important to look after them. And what can you do to add in the likes of high fibrous foods that feed them? Other foods that I recommend are spinach. Okay, spinach is high in iron, high in magnesium. Iron increases your energy levels. Magnesium is something that you can definitely and should on a regular basis have because it is the iron, increased energy levels, as I said. Magnesium is also something that you can add into your diet. And when you do that, it's really one of those things that you should and can, we'll call, make a major difference of your overall health. Because magnesium is used for energy production and 300 other different processes in the body. What I want people to note is tomatoes is the next thing. If you haven't ever tasted organic tomatoes, you have to try them this year. The fact is that they contain lycopene. They can literally, and beta carotene. It can change your skin at a cellular level. Okay, I'm a man, but I do love being healthy, and I do love skin health, because skin is one of the outer layers of our body. It's actually the biggest organ of your body, firstly, and it's important to look after that. And things that I do to improve my skin, I eat orange colored foods. Orange colored foods are a breadwinner because they contain that antioxidant. It's called beta carotene. Write it down. The fact is that when you're doing and consuming foods like that, it can give your color, your skin color, a natural brightness. Okay, forget your makeup, forget your Sally Hansen's if that's a tan that's still going around, and start eating more orange colored foods. It's also found in sweet potato. It's also found, and a lot of people sometimes be worried about, like, say, carrots. Carrots also contain it, and they say might contain carbs. If you're worried about carbs in the likes of carrots, you have got another. You need to seriously sort out the likes of what you're worried about carbs. Carbs from fruits and vegetables are one of the last things you need to be taking out of your diet, unless you're heading into a bodybuilding competition, which I don't mentor or train for. The fact is that those carbs are beneficial. Why? Because they feed the likes of your gut microorganisms, which are all linked to increased production of the likes of serotonin. Okay, serotonin being your happy hormone. Okay, potatoes are another one. Okay, a lot of people, me being an Irishman, I eat potatoes. A lot of people are afraid of carbohydrates. Having carbs at carb sensitive times with people that I train, that coach, that I mentor, it's about, and carbs can be overeaten quite easily. So I recommend carbs in the morning when you're carb sensitive. Okay, having a salad type lunch. Okay, salad type lunch contains spinach, tomatoes, potatoes, and cucumbers. One of the next items I highly recommend you to grow. Potatoes, then typically after your training. Why? Because when you deplete your glycogen levels, because carbohydrates are converted into glycogen, carbs get converted into glycogen, and then they get stored in the muscles for, really, that's because the bigger muscles you have, that's the advantage of muscles. You can actually store energy production in the likes of your muscles. So the larger muscles that you have in your frame, winning, you actually get to consume more foods and more carbs. Carbs are lovely, lads. I love potatoes with a bit of butter, or even in a pan fried potatoes. Don't get me started. And one of the other ones then is asparagus. Asparagus is super beneficial, it being a natural prebiotic. Okay, prebiotic and probiotics. Those are the two things being thrown around. What probiotic supplements have I been taking? A lot of people have asked me in relation to foods and supplements. I don't take a lot of supplements. Okay, I take an organic protein supplement is what I do and consume to hit my protein targets. Okay, it's Sunwire is the one I currently use, and there's also another one that I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but I might tag it up in the show notes. And it helps me and has a lot of micronutrients. That second one, but I'll put it in the show notes. The fact is that that's about the only thing I take. I don't take multivitamins. Okay, it's kind of like throwing a dart at a dartboard. You don't know what you're going to get. If you're looking for magnesium, have dark leafy greens. You're looking for vitamin C, also found in red peppers in abundance, even higher vitamin C than an orange. If you don't know that nutritional organic fact of the day, get on organic peppers. Okay, then what happens in when you eat asparagus? Okay, it can also increase your libido, and that could be due to the iron as well. Therefore, for male and female, I love foods that benefit you. So whether you're in a relationship or not, that could be beneficial to you. Asparagus coming into season, breadwinner, with the likes of those spinach. Spinach is a very easy crop, okay, because you can do a cut and come again. You can grow pepper with spinach. I recommend that. Tomatoes, you're sowing your seeds in February, if not March, if not yesterday when you're listening to this podcast. So one seed and either prick it out, and you will get an abundance of tomatoes that you would never taste the like of. Homegrown tomatoes is amazing. Taste them this year. Sowing them, okay, about 10 centimeters deep. That's about your thumbnail. Then the potatoes, they're okay, about, as I call it, the phone call, or 25 centimeters into the ground. Crop coming in about 120 days. Easy, handy one. Only problem there was blight. Get blight resistant varieties. That's where the difference between conventional and organic produce can be different due to the fact they don't use the likes of copper sulfate. Copper sulfate being something that can cause, and it can be toxic to the body in excessive amounts. Okay, and then I suppose cucumbers, waiting off a small while, we'll be sowing them very, very soon. And then the asparagus is an easy crop, and if you're growing, if you're settled, if you have a house and you're living in the country, or if you have a backyard anywhere, in the city that has a bit of a meter squared asparagus is so easy. You really get these, you can sow from seed, but I recommend you get it from crowns. Okay, and what it looks like is actually an octopus. So an octopus literally has a small bit of a peak on the top, it being its head, and legs going out left and right. You make little domes like that into clear clay. As a result of that, then it'll produce little spurs that come shooting up from that. However, it takes a number of years to get established, okay, just like a fruit tree. So if you're in a place where you're living right now, I recommend you get asparagus. It's so easy. There's no maintenance to it, barely whatsoever. So asparagus into a position in the soil. After that, first year, you leave it go. Don't harvest any at all. Next year, you're leaving it grow again, and it grows up again. Don't harvest any in the second year. Okay, I know this will be very difficult, but it's like good things come to those who wait. In the third year, you have the ability to harvest those spears, okay, which pop up out of the ground. Super beneficial. I said they're a natural prebiotic. And then after that, you can have an abundance of asparagus. Whether you have 2 meters of it, that's going to be loads to feed a family, and it'll be in season every spring. Very little maintenance, as I said, a little bit of weeding. Can't go wrong with that. That is a no-brainer. You can have it, if you had it in a polytunnel as well, it'll also come on a little bit earlier. These are simple foods that you can have at arm's reach. But if you don't grow your own, make sure you get it organic. It's coming into season in Ireland now. Like this week, whenever this podcast comes out, asparagus, look for it. Get it organic. It's so beneficial for you. Okay, some people do have the negative effect of it causing issues with their urine, causing a little bit of a smell, but don't be worried about that. Think of all the other benefits. It contains vitamin C, it contains iron, it contains the likes of antioxidants. It's a natural prebiotic which feed the likes of your gut microorganisms in your stomach, which I really focus in on with people on their diet, because you cannot outtrain a bad diet, and having them organically is really going to benefit you, because you can get non-organic asparagus or tomatoes or spinach or cucumbers or any of those things, or berries, and they cause negative effects on your gut health, okay? Because Roundup is a carcinogen, Roundup is a spray that most people know the likes of it commonly called, but it's glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in that. Glyphosate is and has been proven to be a carcinogenic. That is allowed to be sprayed on crops, whether you know it or not, or you see it. I've put up a couple of different posts and stories in relation to crops and fields being sprayed off to speed up the likes of the ripening. So I give the example of I'm mentoring an individual down in West Cork currently at the minute, and he's growing a little bit of his own. And on the way down, we had a little bit of a chat. And when we got down there, the fact is that there's crops being sprayed, whether it be oats, we'll give the example of can be sprayed. And if there's the temperatures and the likes of the climate don't permit for the drying of the grain, what ends up happening to speed up the process, it gets driven down with a tractor, with a boom sprayer, and as a result of that, sprayed with Roundup. Yeah, killing off the grain to speed up the drying process, that then either we the end consumers or whoever eats the non-organic, the likes of porridge being the most simple thing you can possibly get. Okay, I recommend you to get Flavins. Why? Because it's organic and it's Irish. Okay, you can be in whatever country you are, you can also get alternatives. The thing is, try get it local and try get it fresh, and by God, get it organic, because that's the cheapest. It might be an extra 50 cents for you on top of whatever you're currently shopping is at the minute, but I really want you to remember that a lot of people are blind to what's actually happening. And that happens to numerous. It can happen to barley. That can happen to so many other different crops. And it happen to open fields that people don't want grass. 1 minute it's grass. Next thing you spray the whole field. And then sometimes they leave cattle back out on top of it. And that's if you eat dairy or you tolerate dairy. It's so important that you're having things organically for the likes of your overall health. Improving on the likes of your gut, because your gut health then is linked to your skin health, and then as a result of that, then you're going to be a happier, you're going to be a healthier individual. Increase serotonin, increase mood, increase mood because you have extra vitamins and minerals, and as a result of that, then it's just you being your best, and that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for people to change up their diet if they want something to be more improved in their life right now. I suppose I'll wrap it up there, and as I say, thanks very much for listening to the latest episode of the Organic Fitness Podcast. And if there's anybody that is looking for an improved version of themselves or looking to join the Organic Fitness program, I'd recommend you to either contact me on any of my social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, DM, whether it be TikTok, whether it be my email. All of those things are Colman Power Organic Fitness on all those, and on Facebook too. So we're going to wrap it up as I always do. Stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic.